Good morning. Welcome into twitch.tv/iScream. My name is Grimday and I'm joined by the man that we call Mr. Beep. I'll read. Welcome in. This is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. And we are bringing you, it used to be your daily dose, but it's your weekly dose of news from the world of video games and beyond. The reason I say that is we used to go live at 10 a.m.-ish each and every single weekday, but recently we've been scaling that back and just bringing it you once a week on a Friday, bringing you a roundup of all the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. So please do feel free to join us every Friday around 10 a.m. On Twitch. But if you can't join us on Twitch, then you can do what JMK does and watch us on the Saturday on YouTube or listen on iTunes and Spotify and Google Play and Amazon Music and all the other places where we throw the content online. But if you are in the stream, please do feel free to get involved, because on-demand listeners get to listen to us whenever they want, but they don't get to influence the conversations like people do on Twitch. So if there's any snippets of information that you think might just round out the way that we've covered a story, please do feel free to get involved in the chat. Before we start things off, though, a few talking points. If you are watching this stream on Twitch, you can get involved in the Loot Drop. That's a monthly giveaway where we give prizes to subscribers, or one subscriber as it should be. The first Monday of every month, we take an export of everyone that is sub to the channel. We put them into a hat or a spinning wheel, as it is, and we give one of them a prize. And this month it was Leche, who has won a video game of his choice, but because he's supremely nice, his actual response was... This is bullshit. Rigged. This is bullshit. Rigged. No, his actual response was, can I not have the prize? And I was like, what? He's like, no, I want the prize. I just don't want to make you guys spend money on buying me a game. It's like, oh. I was like, well, you can have the prize. I mean, in reality, Lech is the other side of the world from us. So us buying him a video game can be quite difficult. So we'd probably just send him the money for him to buy a game. But I was like, if you don't want it, we can give you an hat. He's like, yeah, I'll take an ICU hat, baby. So yeah, his hat will soon be inbound. Just if you're watching this, Leche, because I know you watch all of our things on YouTube all the time. Right. Please do feel free to give us the address to send it out, mate. Yep. Nice. Yeah, nice.
I have asked him. But like you say, it's the other side of the bloody world.
Exactly.
So we'll see. Yeah. Eventually.
Excusez-moi. Yeah, just a reminder for anyone that is watching this as well, I do have Lergy, I apologise, so that you will have extra bass in the voice, probably a few extra coughs and stuff as we go, but that's all part of the charm, right? No, probably not. Anyway, let's jump into the split screen. Good morning to everyone in the chat, including Doombrain, even though he's not part of ICU anymore. Screw that guy. Sorry. No, if you are watching or listening, fuck that guy. If you are watching or listening on demand, we are talking to the chat as we go. Quite a lot of people that record podcasts ignore their audience, which is fine. It makes sense. You are listening into someone else having a conversation. We try to bring people into that. So if you are listening to this for the first time, as a few people did last week, that was their first taste of the scoop, then appreciate it. But we will be chatting to people as we go. So if you wonder who Doombrin or Tito or Chappers or Lake or J&K or anyone else that we mention, those are ICU community members that get involved in the conversation on the stream. Nice. Should we kick things off, though, babe?
Do you know what, Graham? I bloody think we should.
Okay. I don't know if it's you or if it's someone else, but I'm going to ask you the question. What would you say is the best DLC for any game of all time?
Oh, well, I know what yours isn't.
Yeah.
But best DLC of any game? That's a tough question.
I can leave you to sit with that one.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it. The reason I asked that question is someone I speak to on the channel. I can't remember if it's Bib or if it's someone else, but someone says, and I'll bring up the news right now. Someone says that Red Dead Redemption's Undead Nightmare is the best DLC that they have ever played.
I know there are two people.
Who's that?
So one of them was Wobbles, and the other one was Ads.
It might be Wobbles then. Yeah, I think I've spoken to. But for me, it's not. And not that it was like overly crap. It's just that Red Dead Redemption was so good. And Undead Nightmare wasn't quite as good. But do you know when you're expecting the DLC to be like, oh, it's even better, but it was the same but different, but not the same kind of thing. Like, rather than same but different, but still same. It was same different, but not same. So it was the same sort of game, different colours scheme, different sort of enemies, but just a bit too repetitive. But anyway, still great content. It was just because the first game was something just blinged on my screen. An update is available. Nice, thank you. Get out of here. Yeah, for me, it was. Oh, Jelly Media's watching. Hi, Jelly Media. Hey there. This is.
I wonder who's using that account. Is it Burnser?
Well, that's interesting. It's interesting. I was talking. Who was I talking to the other day? Someone said I think it was Spidge thought he got raided by Jelly Media, but it was just another media company thing. But yeah, welcome in. Oh, I see a sub's just about to hit.
Stay frosty,
Yeah.
GTA Lost and Damned Ice Up seems good.
Ice Up seems good. GTA Lost and Damned is a good shout for best DLC, to be fair. Also, same company, so clearly Rockstar know what they're doing when it comes to content. BioShock 2 Minerva's Den has to be up there. Good shout. I've never played any of the BioShock.
You know what? That's Jim. It has to be Jim. I'm telling you now, with something like that, he's definitely logged in. I'll put it out there. That's 100% Jim.
Guilty.
There we go.
Nice. But yeah, for me, I loved Red Dead so much that Undead Nightmare, it was almost an impossible task for me to enjoy that at the same. So it's not that it was bad, it's that I loved it to death, effectively. Like, there was no way it was going to be successful. But anyway, that's enough for the opinion stuff. Let's get into the actual fluff. So Tom Ivan over at VGC has this article. It says, Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare announced for PC. The game and the expansion will be released in October. So Rockstar has announced the long-anticipated PC version of Red Dead Redemption. The open-world Western game will be bundled with its zombie-themed expansion, Undead Nightmare, when it hits PC on October 29th, 2024. That's only 18 days away. The title will be available via the Rockstar Store, Steam, and the Epic Games Store, with pre-order details set to be announced later this week. Excuse me. Quotes. In collaboration with Double 11, this new version adds PC-specific enhancements, including native 4K resolution at up to 144Hz on compatible hardware, monitor support for both ultra-wide and super ultra-wide. Okay, that tickles my pickle, because finally I can use my mega screen. Let's go. HDR10 support and full keyboard and mouse functionality, said Rockstar. There's also support for NVIDIA DLSS 3.7, AMD FSR 3.0 upscaling technologies, NVIDIA DLSS frame generation, adjustable draw distances, shadow quality settings, and more. If you're not a PC player and that doesn't mean much to you, basically all of that stuff just makes it look better. That's the gist of what that is. Red Dead Redemption was first released for PS3 and Xbox 360 on May the 18th, 2010, before hitting PS4 and Nintendo Switch in August 2023. Okay, we'll leave it there. We don't need to go through the rest of the details. Just hidden my camera. That's not what I meant to do. Great times. Let's go back over here. So Red Dead, Undead Nightmare, announced for PC. Mm-hmm. Are you having a bit of that, babe? We're saying.
Yes, I am. It still baffles me that this never got a PC release, as being one of the most influential, greatest games of all time. Never got a PC release, and we've had Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC before the first one, which is bonkers to me, especially if you are someone who grew up PC gaming and you never got to play the first one, but you could play the second one first. But yeah, the fact that this is going to be getting a PC release, as well as the DLC to go along with it, as well as all of the little extras that come along with it, like did it say in the article? I need to bring it back up again. I've just closed it down, but it didn't mention how much it was going to be, right?
It didn't. Not that I've seen. And the end bit, Red Dead, no, does not mention cost. It just mentions that it will be Rockstar Store, Steam, and the Epic Games Store, but no price information.
Yeah, very interested to see how it's going to be priced. Whether or not it's going to be going in at full throttle, 50 quid. I can't see them putting a AAA 2024 price tag on it, considering it's obviously an older game. But I'm very interested to see where the price point comes in with this. I think people will be happy to spend between 30 or 40 with it, especially with it coming with a DLC. But I don't know. They could just go, well, we're giving you all this added stuff, and that's worth the price tag alone. So, yeah, hopefully it's priced accordingly. But yeah, this definitely 110% tickles my pickle, and it gives me I'm in that camp where I still haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2. Not touched it. Got it. Not touched it. Don't know why, genuinely. No idea why. I've been back and played Red Dead Redemption 1 before I've started playing 2, because I thought, do you know what, I'll do 1 again, because it's been, I don't know, 10 years or whatever, even more since it came out. I'll go back and I'll play it, and then I'll jump straight into the second one, and I got halfway through 1 and then never went back to it. So it's still on my list of things to do. However, all the bells and whistles being played on PC, again, me and you have had this conversation, whether or not it was on the scoop last week or in previous times. I can't actually remember when me and you had the conversation. It was during an episode of something, or when we were just streaming together, but was talking about the state of console gaming and stuff.
That was last week's scoop.
Was it last week? Jesus.
We did the PS5 Pro roundup sort of stuff.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're talking about the way that we're potentially moving away from console gaming because it's just PlayStation and, to a small degree, Xbox are just starting to alienate the core player base, and the prospect of PC gaming with things like the Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, and all the other things that you'll be able to play your catalog on. All of those things tickle and pickle more than the prospects of a PlayStation 6 or a new Xbox. So, yeah, that's... I'm excited to see where the future of things like this is. I know we're looking back and bringing games that have been out for such a long time, but they've never had a PC release, and the PC world will eventually want to be able to play this, and I'm glad that they are doing it. But the prospects of where we're looking at in the future and the games that we're going to be playing, the price that they're going to be played at, the resolution and all of that stuff, it is mildly exciting. But yeah, using things like the Steam Deck for 280 quid refurbished, like... That definitely has my attention more than anything else, and the fact that I can go back and now play these games again, yeah, exciting future ahead, hopefully.
Steam Deck is potentially my Christmas present.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was talking about this in the office yesterday to Levi, because Levi's a member of the team in the office. He has a Steam Deck and he uses it semi-regularly, kind of thing. It's just a very expensive item to not use, and I have a backbone.
Are you going for the bells and whistles?
Yeah, I'd be going 1 terabyte OLED with the dock and stuff like that. But I have the backbone for my iPhone. So if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's basically like the Riziki sheets, one of the peripherals that you plug your phone into so you can play games on your phone using controller-like buttons. It's still not a great form factor, but it's better than using the phone screen, and you can use it for PS remote play and things like that. My internet, until this time next week, is shit. Oh, speaking about that, I'm off next week, babe.
Oh, right, okay.
So
next Friday?
Yeah, so maybe we'll move the scoop to another day.
Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday. We'll do a Wednesday scoop next week. Yeah. You heard it here first, because we didn't realise until just then. No, I'm.
What other podcast is this?
I've just realised I'm having. So for anyone that doesn't know, ! Sky in the chat will let you know that Sky is crap for me. My internet sucks ass. Next week I'm having Virgin Media installed, and we'll see how we get on with that adventure. But
could be a success.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. But my internet is going to be out of commission for the day whilst they install everything. So yeah. Organised as fuck guys. He thinks we're fuck guys. he's right.
I can definitely tell you that is fundamentally wrong.
So getting Virgin Media installed. So I've just booked the day because they give you like a 6-hour window of when it could come. So I just thought, fuck it, well, I'll just take the day, because rather than sat here and not working and shit, I've just taken the day off. So yeah, anyway, coming back to Red Dead Redemption DLC on PC, though, David's kind of spoiled my research a little bit that I was just doing then while Bibby was on screen. So the thing where my brain went was price. How much is this going to be? Will they charge you full price for it? I thought, okay, well, this is a Rockstar re-release of a previous game, which Rockstar has formed for. They did it with Mafia, the Definitive Collection, and the Definitive Edition, which... That goes back quite a bit now. That's back fully onto the PS4 generation. But they also did it with the Grand Theft Auto trilogy. Grand Theft Auto 1, 2, 3 San Andreas Vice City trilogy. So I went and looked at how much that was at launch. $59.99 that was at launch. So I was thinking, okay, well, that's kind of a good barometer then. The difference is, though, is that's 3 games. From the same sort of console generation. So if they're charging you, I'll assume, we'll call it 50 quid because it's $60. Although we know the video game world doesn't work like that, fuckers. We'll call it 50 quid is what they charge for 3 games. It might be a bit less than that, which David has actually put the price into the chat. It's £39.99, so nearly 40 quid to pre-order Red Dead Redemption DLC and PC and Undead Nightmare DLC on Steam, £39.99. So yeah, it kind of tracks nicely.
That's a good price.
Yeah, not too bad for a game that has never been on the system, that needs to break even. Excuse me 1 second. That needs to break even. It's got to wash it. Oh, 1 second. Didn't finish the first cough. I've got to go back and finish it. It's got to wash its own face, so it needs to earn a bit of money. And full release games are about 70, 80 quid now. That's the norm. It's 100 quid for your special editions, and then more than that for your special editions. 40 quid's not bad. Not bad, especially not for a game that... There's very few games that I will play through again. If they are 20 to 40 hour story experiences, very, very rarely will I play through that game again. I'll play bits of it, and I'll look back on it fondly, but even the best ones, I don't often go back and play them again. That's a long time commitment, and I've only got so many hours in my life. So I'd do that with more passive experiences. I'll watch a film again because I can just sit there and do other things while I'm not doing it. But 8 hours and done and happy. Is that all the story is? Or you...
No, I think he's just talk about experiences in general. I mean, I'm with him in that.
Yeah, I agree. If you can get me
anything up to 11 hours, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. If it like some stories you don't want to end. So you can get a 20-hour story, you'd be like, okay, fair enough. But I would say 8 to 11, that sort of, maybe 12-ish, that sort of, you can not everyone and not all the time, but I'll just speak generically, you can quite easily find 4 hours. Like, say if you thought, do you know what, I'll turn it on at 8 p.m, we've fed the kids, we've eaten, we've walked the dog, with whatever, I'll start playing at 8 and I'll turn it off at midnight. Maybe I'm going to bed a bit later, but I can afford to lose an hour or two here there. And you can do that three nights in a row. That's 12 hours. That's your 12-hour playthrough. Jobs are good, and you don't have to fucking kill yourself for 2, 3, 4 weeks to play it. You just know, do you know what, it's worth it. And that's what me and Danielle did, playing through all of the Uncharted series and Last of Us kind of stuff. I mean, obviously they were longer experiences, so some of those did go into the second week kind of thing. But those stories are worth it. But a lot of stories, honestly, aren't worth really the 20-hour sacrifice and sleep and whatever, 30-hour, 40-hour sort of stuff. But Red Dead is a very, very good story, and also is a very good distraction as well. So the idea of the Steam Deck for me and having the little dock and plugging it into the TV in the living room means Danielle can sit there and go, oh, there's one of those flowers that you needed to pick. So I'm fucking spin around and go back and pick it up and shit. Love that shit. Yes, please. Give me more of that. So
you'll be able to use your PDP controller with it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, the like you say, the docking of the system and things. I think that is where my preference is going, because this is my office, this is my home office. It has all of my work stuff in, but it also has all of my consoles in and stuff. But I don't spend, outside of actual work time, I don't spend as much time in here as I used to do. I've got a young family and stuff, so having a portable system that is able to do all the things that my PC is able to do, again, is a scaled down resolution and all those things, but graphics to me are absolutely everything. Gameplay over graphics for me every single time. 100%. So providing that the gameplay is solid and it runs at a minimum of 30 frames, I know people in Master 60 frames only. It's like, I'm not asked to play.
Depends on what you're playing. If you're doing story stuff, 30 is fine. If you play multiplayer bits, then okay, the story picture fucking flicker book sort of stuff starts to be a pain in the ass. But yeah, I get what you say. If it's full 4K HDR-ish stuff, 30 frames, there's no issue. If it plays really well and you've got a really good story behind it, 30 is fine as well. Obviously, more is more. They say frames win games, but if you're playing a story that you're not playing against other people, then you don't need the frames. It's nice. Yeah. You don't need it.
Frames win games if you're playing an online game, but if I'm playing a single-player game, who cares?
Can't face 30 anymore. I'm not a snob on graphics, but fuck 30. It's 2024. All right, Grandad.
I still have a 4K monitor in my office. Like, I've got a 1080p monitor. Like, the latest and greatest technology is all well and good, but I'm not asked. If I can still play games at a reasonable rate, to me, that's all I care about. But yeah, fair enough. People obviously have different expectations and stuff. That's that's on you. That's your opinion. You're absolutely fine with that. But like, games don't live and die by 30 or 60 for me personally.
Yeah. I mean, I've got 1080p monitors. That one's a 2K monitor, the super wide, but the these ones are 240 hertz. These ones, so I can play up to 240 frames. Whoever plays 240 frames, what the fuck? You might get that like for 30 seconds on PUBG over the course of a year, kind of thing. But usually no. But yeah, if I can take 60, I'll be very, very happy. But if I'm playing some form of resolution-based game, 4K 30 is more than enough. But if I'm playing a retro game that's been retrofitted, I'll take whatever the DLSS or whatever other software that's going to be working to super sample and bring it out. Whatever you can get me, I'll take it. I'm not asked, because that's when I'm looking into the nostalgia and the feel. If I was really bothered about those being a snob and the graphics, then I wouldn't be playing a game that's 13 years old or whatever it is now. Was it 2000? It might have been 2008, 2009. So
it might ring 2008 rings a bell.
I'm thinking 13 years old, but that's more like The Last of Us or something.
It was scroll 2010.
Oof, a bit further back, a bit further forward, should I say? So yeah, like I wouldn't be bothered about graphics and stuff if I'm playing a good 14-year-old game. At that point, you're playing it for the experience, the nostalgia, or you're playing something to fill a gap in your gaming ledger that may have been missed previously. At that point, you've got ulterior motives rather than just wanting, I want 4K, 60, like minimum sort of stuff. Nah. I get you though. I am very much a hardware snob. Like I like the Jelly Media account is being run by Jim. Excuse me 1 second.
Cough.
Jim has probably the best knowledge of retro games in anyone that I know, bar none. Like Bibby's got a good eye for retro. Jim is like next level sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas for me, I'd be more likely. I was saying I don't tend to go play games again. There's very few games that I do play again. Like Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of the few games that I've played on multiple different systems in different decades, kind of thing. But Red Dead is one of those games that I would do that. Generally, though, I want to play this game on this new generation that's out right now. I want whatever the freshest thing is, at the highest that it could be, the best that it could be, generally. So I do agree with you on that, Doom, but these horses for courses, time and place for everything, 100%. Like, if you only, though, limit yourself to it has to be 60 minimum, then you are cutting yourself off. Nose, spite, face sort of thing. But yeah, anyway, back to the topic at hand and the chat. Let me catch up. If the new Xbox is 700/800, it's not a massive jump to a goodish low-end PC. We were talking about this last week, actually, with the PS5. Agree, but also disagree. Like, some people were talking about, I think it was David or someone maybe referenced the Linus Tech Tips or something like that, or there was an article. I can't remember exactly the content. Do feel free to go watch the podcast from last week. And they were saying, like, a £700, £800 PC will not give you the 4K 60 experience that you'll get on a PS5 or whatever the new Xbox is. That is true. You won't get 4K 60. But you will get everything else that comes with having a PC that you can't do on a console. So, swings and roundabouts. Exclamation mark Virgin. Thank you, mate.
You fucking call him.
Barely 2 FPS on my Commodore 64. Exactly! 16, I think, Commodore 64. Still trying to find a good Amiga to fix up. More Commodore 64 on this channel, please. My childhood right there. I remember, was it the Commodore 64 where the game would boot up? Is David in the stream? I don't know if David's been in yet. No, I don't think he has. Where the game would boot up and you could, like, basically feck up the boot process to go down to the next screen, and we used, like, you could draw, effectively, air quotes, draw on the screen. Imagine the screen was made up of big pixels, and the pixels were either green or white, and then you could, like, filled them in. So we used to use the boot screen to like draw shit because we didn't have many games. Although Rambo 3 on the Commodore 64 was a fucking exceptional game as well. I think it was Rambo 3. It might have just been called Rambo, but it was around the time of Rambo 3. It was that good that my uncle hid it from me. Because I wanted to play it all the time, and he wanted to play other games. So I don't know where it's gone. I was like, yeah, of course, you. But yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. Commodore 64, the C64 takeover. Sorry, I've derailed the chat with an NWO takeover with C64. C64. Nice. Picked up Q1. Cool. What's that? Picked up Kwon the other week.
I just had to Google it. I can't remember it. I had to have a look at it. It's a From Software game from way back on the PS2. Looking at the gameplay of it, I definitely wouldn't have ever paid attention to it. Like, it just looks like a From Software game, as you'd expect, but in like a survival horror environment. It's not for me.
Complete niche reference that I'm not sure if anyone else will get. Someone might get, but when I said Kuon, it reminded me of a TikTok that I saw forever ago that came back up in my feed the other day. Have you ever seen the video of a guy like driving down like a pedestrian precinct in a town centre, and there's a guy just stood on the street with his headphones in a shirt, just dancing away to himself? It could be like silly o'clock in the morning. This guy just pulls up and starts videoing him, and he goes, "Go on, lad. Go on." So it was the. But then a traffic warden comes up and goes, "This is a pedestrian precinct. You can't." And he goes, "Fuck off out of the way, you spunk bubble." And he just. And he, "Oh, all right." Anyway, I'll find it for anyone that wants to know. Exclamation mark Discord. I'll put the thing in after the show. Fucking go on, lad. Go on. Spectrum 48 is where it's at. Just saying. First Blood Part 2, Rambo Part 3, Rambo 3 with Commodore 64, yeah. Fucking loved that. Loved it. Oh, you are? Yeah, obviously you are, David. You did tell me the Red Dead price. If my brother forgets, I mean, who said that? Goddamn. Was $5.95. What was $5.95? What? Go on, lad.
Yeah.
Go on, lad.
Oh God. I mean, I love my retro games, right? But my collection behind me is games. I'm not just going out buying games because they'll look nice in my collection. The games that I try to collect are one on my shelf behind me are usually games that I've grown up with, that I have some form of nostalgia with. Spending £600, I don't care if it was fucking Resident Evil 2, like on the PS1, and it was signed. Like, I ain't paying that. Like, that's just so much money.
The Last Ninja was unmatched on Commodore 64. So Core on PS2, $5.95. You can get yourself almost a PS6 for that, mate. No comment, regames. Although I'm a tight ass, so 50p a game, please.
He just gets shipments constantly in the office of different games. Like, I went round to his desk the other day, and I don't even know what it was on his desk. He'll let you know now. It was like was it Commodore games that he had on his desk that had literally just been delivered? Some of the stuff that ends up coming through is unbelievable.
Jim's setup is unbelievable, to be fair, as well. So yeah, I hadn't seen Jim's setup. Was it on the way back from the London event? Were we in the car? Did you show me, or did you message me afterwards? I can't quite remember. It was around that time. It was afterwards. It was when we got back. It's when you got your chair. And that was the first time I'd seen Jim's setup. It's fucking class. It's class, by the way. He's got a couple of retro games in there. Let's put it that way. Just a few. Anyway, we'll put a pin in this conversation. Red Dead Redemption and DLC, as I put on the screen. That was just to fit him. Undead Nightmare, as most people know, is coming to PC 29th of this month. So if you never played it back then and you want to play it now, it's actually not too badly priced, $39.99. I actually was... Are we going to get some gouge in here? But no, that's not too bad. $39.99, easy. We'll take that. And if it's like the GTA stuff, there was a comment from Lake, I think it was. Where's Lake's comment? GTA Trilogy was an absolute mega flop. I'm so glad I played it for free. I wouldn't have said it was a mega flop. I will say it was a missed opportunity. They definitely used a lot of AI sort of processes to remaster that. As we covered on the scoops at the time, it was a bit of a ball ache, but they did go back and they did put effort into sorting a lot of that stuff out. but the prices did drop massively as a result of that. I ended up picking it up for either £5 or £10 on the PlayStation. I've never installed it, but just having access to that on this generation of consoles, it seemed like £5-10 was money-ish well spent. So from their perspective, someone that's never even played the game, just give them £5-10 for no reason, fucking happy day. But for me, yeah, I'll take it. Anyway, we'll move in to the next bit of news. Shout out to Timberborn, by the way. I don't even know what that is, but look at the takeover on this site. Like, fucking 90% of the page is Timberborn. Sheesh. We need to get some hashtag ad on this. Yeah, damn. No, they're sticking with the VGC. This time, Andy Robinson. This is a story from just over a week ago. I think it was last weekend. But we didn't touch on it in time, and it's been popping up in the VGC conversation, so I thought I'd just quickly throw this one in just to go over, because we like to keep our finger on the pulse of the state of the industry in general. I had actually missed this, so this is partially for me bringing up to speed, but if I've missed it, there's a good chance other people might have as well. But Tencent and the Gilmore family, that's Eve Gilmore, who stood right there on the picture if you're watching the video stuff. Tencent and the Gilmore family are reportedly considering taking Ubisoft private. So the Assassin's Creed publisher has lost more than half its market value this year. Woo! Into the body of the article now. Okay, Tencent and Ubisoft founders, the Gilmore family, are reportedly considering teaming up to take the company private after it lost more than half its market value this year. According to Bloomberg sources, the Chinese conglomerate, which already owns around 10% of Ubisoft, and the Gilmore Brothers Limited have been speaking with advisors to explore ways to stabilise Ubisoft. One of the possibilities discussed would involve teaming up to take Ubisoft private, it's claimed, though talks are said to be at an early stage, and there's no certainty they will lead to action. Tencent and the Gilmore family are also considering other alternatives, according to Bloomberg. Last month, Ubisoft's share price dropped to its lowest point in nearly 11 years. The most recent dips followed Ubisoft's announcement that it had delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows and the disappointing launch performance of Star Wars Outlaws, which I actually played a little bit of on stream. Really enjoyed it, so it's a bit of a shame, but understandable with everything that's been going on. Anyway, earlier in September, a minority investor called on Ubisoft's management to take the company private or let it be sold to a strategic investor. I won't go into any more detail because it's kind of saying the same thing. You get the idea. Ubisoft not doing particularly great at the moment and could potentially be sold. What are your thoughts, Mr. Bibb?
Yeah, well, I mean, if the share prices are at its lowest that it's been in 11 years, then across the board for anyone who's looking to invest, that's at some point will become a hugely profitable business again, right? Like they literally within video games, you are one game away from your share prices going through the roof. So if it's at the lowest it's been in 11 years, then obviously it makes business sense, right? Like from the outside looking in, don't know everything that's going on with Ubisoft, but it just seems to be like a downward trajectory with everything that's going on over there. So if I had the money, I'd be looking to try and invest in there as well, because you're not going to get it at its current price anytime soon again, right? So again, video games, you're one game away from it going through the roof. So it makes perfect sense to me why someone would be looking to invest while it's at its lowest price, especially with new games coming out in the horizon. So yeah, as much as I want to say it's a non-story, from a business side of things, it is a non-story, but from the world of video games, it is quite a big one because Ubisoft are looking to try and go private, which, yeah. Bizarre, you never would have thought that, would you, 5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seemed that way and hasn't seemed that way over the last few years. There's a point where the Gilmore family came out and said, Ubisoft is not for sale. And we were like, that's a pretty significant statement, that. Okay, it shows that they want to keep hold of the business. They're not bothered about selling out. Okay. And then about a week later on the scoop, it was like, just wanted to confirm that when we said this, what we meant was like, I mean, if you did have a big wad of cash and you were thinking about buying Ubisoft, we'd probably talk to you and see what you were saying anyway, which then kind of like saying it with your chest suddenly doesn't mean anything. So there was that thing. So they aren't for sale, but maybe if you got enough cash, we could be for sale. But at that time, Star Wars Outlaws and the Avatar game and everything else that they've got in the pipeline were still TBA, well, TBD, to be delivered rather than to be announced. And now we've had Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which was a good game, not a great game. And we've got Star Wars Outlaws, which I'll say the same thing again, although I haven't sampled enough people's opinions on it to say it was a good game, not a great game. Wobbles, who I've spoke to, loves Star Wars Outlaws, but like us, he is a corporate shill for Ubisoft, so can't be trusted. No, we are Ubisoft. We're in the Ubisoft Creator Program, by the way. So we are going to be honest. And the reason we're talking about this is because Ubisoft isn't doing well. If we were shills, we wouldn't be talking about it at all. But I really liked what I've played of Star Wars Outlaws. Didn't pay for it though, so if I did, maybe I'd have a different opinion. So keep that in mind. Anyway, so back to this then. You've got Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, a Star Wars game to be released coming soon. Your Assassin's Creed games have been doing not particularly great because you're on a yearly release cycle. People are getting fed up with it. So you bring out Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You've got a few years now until your next Assassin's Creed game, but you're starting to get yourself into a bit of a winning formula with Valhalla. You've understand that people want more substance, better content, better storyline. So let's stick to that and bring another game out in 2 or 3 years rather than in 9 months' time. So Ubisoft looked like they were going somewhere. So you can understand them going, yeah, we're not for sale unless you've got all the money. Now, though, you've spent a lot of money on acquiring the Avatar license. You've spent a lot of money on acquiring Star Wars as IP and making a game in that universe, and they have not set the world on fire. This has got to be a shaky time for Ubisoft. Probably the most ever. Not obviously. It's the lowest. It's lost half its market value. It's the lowest share price it's had in 13 years. Those are quite scary anyway. But we're in a time when it's notoriously difficult to cut through in the video game market. And I feel, for me, that is part of the problem with Ubisoft. And I don't mean to badmouth anyone at Ubisoft. Obviously, we are corporate shills, so we will say all the good things. Now, we're not corporate shills, but I don't want to shit on anyone unnecessarily anyway. But from my perspective, when was the last time a Ubisoft game launched and you thought that marketing campaign was exceptional? That influencer campaign hit the right people at the right time. Like, I don't believe they've done any of that. It's not as if they've not spent money either. I just don't think they're spending it in the right way. Something that worked back in 2011 clearly isn't working in 2024. So Outlaws launched, and I saw people like Lyric and so playing the game on the front page of Twitch. They'd probably play it anyway. Maybe not all the way through, but what else are you going to do then? Because those people that watch Lyric, this is 2024. They understand he's going to play sponsored games, but they'll watch him play whatever he plays anyway. What else do we get? Where's the viral content happening in major cities around the world? It's fucking stormtroopers marching down London High Streets or building the KVS activation. KVS is the main character of Star Wars Outlaws, by the way, that you'll see at a Ubisoft stand at Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show. You need that stuff not just at game shows. You need that stuff in shopping centres. You need proper takeovers of other platforms, be that TV shows, be that podcasts, be wherever people get their news now. You need to be invading those spaces. And Ubisoft doesn't do that. There's no easy answer. This is the most difficult thing. This is why businesses like Jelly Media, which is our company, exist, because it's difficult to figure out how to unlock the audience. Once they figure out how you're unlocking them, they move somewhere else. And Ubisoft haven't figured out that out yet. So they are still selling 2024 games, but in 2014 fashion. And it's showing because nobody's believing in the games. And that's before we even get to the fact that the games might or might not, depending on your opinion, be bestsellers, be absolute must-plays. Even if they weren't, if you sell it well enough, people will play it. Like Dead Island, for a lot of people, is a great game, but for most people, isn't one of the best games that they've ever played. But the marketing campaign for the first Dead Island has propped up 15 years for that because they marketed it so well. Ubisoft are kind of hoping for that. Well, Ubisoft, we make great games. Yeah, but you've been doing that for 30 years now. Like people don't just, like, the last 15 years say that you don't make great games. So now you need to show us that you make great games by marketing them great. And that's the thing for me. If they do go private, will that Tencent angle, will that mean that there's different people arguing for different things to be done in different ways? Could that be? Because what Ubisoft have, their frequency of releases and the quality of their titles, even if they're not 10 out of 10s, even if they're 7, 8, 9s out of 10s, they should be doing better than they are. And yeah, that freshening up with someone else could be the necessary change. That's my thoughts. Yeah. I liked... Sorry, my voice is going now. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, I can hear.
I liked Fiendish Freddy's Big Top of Fun. That's the game where you could swan dive into a cup of water on the 64. Oh, that was class. Do you know what? I'll remember that until the end of this stream, and I will completely forget what that's called. But Fiendish Freddy's Big Top of Fun it was almost like California Games, but for the circus. California Games, you'll do some skateboarding, then you'll do some rollerblading, then you'll do some surfing, and then you'll do some kicky-uppy with a hacky sack or whatever they're called. But every game's different from next to next. And that's kind of what Fiendish Freddy's was. You did different things in a circus, and the best one was you went up one of those things where you're a diver and you jump off top and you've got to spin a bunch of times and then land in a pool at the bottom, but the pool gets smaller and smaller and smaller, like down to just a glass of water kind of thing. So you have to get your angle plus finish your dive on time. Difficult as fuck. Not only was it difficult, but we were compounded by the fact that we were like 4 and 7 back then. So we had like, I know what I need to do, but I also have the limbs of a 4-year-old, so I can't do anything. So, great game. Probably the easiest game ever if you play it now, but back then was difficult as fuck. Painter Boy is greater than The Last Ninja, but Last Ninja is a legend. Are you pitching for the Ubisoft marketing account? We aren't.
Ubisoft, hi.
To be fair, that's not how you pitch for an account, by the way. Telling an account that they're bad at something is not a way to get them to get you involved to do the work. That usually makes them go, fuck off, mate. At best, you want a SWOT analysis, but that's a completely different thing. It's a different thing. Anyway, moving ahead, let's get the discussing title off the screen. We'll start to pick up the pace with the news now then, because we've still got a few stories left, plus Free Game Friday. But the next bit of news is... Nice stealthy cough in the transition then that nobody caught up on, but I've told you anyway, so what's the point? This is written by Eurogamer, more specifically Matt Wales at Eurogamer. Nintendo playtesting a mystery new Switch online feature this month with up to 10k people. Sign-ups open soon. So in a moment of enigmatic reverie, what an intro. Nintendo has announced... I mean, it sounds
I'd still be trying to read that.
Yeah, I don't even know what reverie... Reverie? What does that mean? It's provocative. So, in a moment of that stuff, Nintendo has announced it will be playtesting a mysterious new Switch Online feature later this month, and it's inviting up to 10,000 people to get involved. I'm just going to stop for a second, because at this point, that's like me going, I've got something new. And you going, ooh. And me going, do you want to try it? And you going... What is it? You've not told me what it is yet. So, yeah, anyway, Nintendo. Nintendo never want to prioritize form over function, is calling this newly announced venture the Nintendo Switch Online Playtest Program. And the only clue it's willing to share currently is that it's explicitly, quote, related to a new feature for the Nintendo Switch Online service, end quote. To that end, participants must have an active Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack membership, and the playtest will require them to download, quote, exclusive software, end quote, to their Switch console in order to take part. To get involved, participants must be at least 18 years of age and have a Nintendo account registered in either Japan, the USA, the UK, France, Germany, Italy, or Spain. Sign-ups are due to open via Nintendo's application form yesterday, 10th of October at 6 p.m. PDT. I don't actually know what PDT is. Anyway, it'll close on October the 15th. The playtest...
Is it Pacific daytime?
That's what I was kind of thinking. Pacific Daylight. Is that even a thing? 'Cause, the The playtest itself runs from 23rd of October to the 5th of November. So what could it be? Something related to that clock thing? The long overdue relaunch of Miiverse? An update that magically transformed your console into Switch 2? Preemptive legal action for whatever Nintendo fancies going after this week? Answers on a postcard below. Usually I'd stop at that first bit, but that last paragraph was too good to leave. So yeah, nice one, Matt Wales. So yes, if you're a fan of putting your name to something that you don't know what it is, then Nintendo's your guy. Something. If as long as you play the game, you play on the console, you've got an account that's active in one of the regions mentioned, you can do the thing. Bib, would you do the thing?
Yes, Graham, I would certainly do the thing. But no, in all honesty, like this is finger in the wind stuff. Like Nintendo tend to not do things that you'd come to expect. Like in terms of their software, in terms of their hardware, it's so far behind everybody else. Yet they are still selling these consoles left, right, and center. The IPs that they have on their books are cemented in video games, so they don't necessarily always have to be the market leader in what it is that they're going to be putting out. Like, I still don't know if you can actually have party chats on that and you don't have to use your phone. Do you remember that, where they're, we got party chat, yay, but you have to use your mobile phone? What? like they seem to make decisions that nobody else would
Party
make.
Chat 2.0. This one, you don't need your phone. Oh, nice. You just take your Switch to an actual party and chat to people. Dun, dun, dun.
Boo. Genuinely, you can never guess what Nintendo are going to do, because it might not be revolutionary, but you go, okay, it kind of makes sense for what Nintendo are going to be doing. But the fact that the Switch 2 is around the corner makes me think that it's going to be some form of network test.
Yeah.
And they could have some form of streaming services. Like you can play like the new Resident Evil games on there. You can't download them. You have to play them off a server somewhere. So they do have that technology built into the system somewhere. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was something to do with that. And I think that's probably the most obvious thing, considering you have to have an active membership to their online services, and it's not just something that you can just download from the store or get access to. So yeah, I think it's just going to be cloud related, but genuinely, who the fuck knows? Like, who knows?
One thing I will say just off the back of that is kind of funny games, which is, as I mentioned all the time, one of the podcasts that I listen to, they reference something called WNDs, not WMDs, that's weapons of mass destruction. WNDs are weird Nintendo decisions. So that could be very functional, useful, like you've said, like something to do with the system for the Switch 2, but it also could be related to this bizarre thing. It mentioned a weird clock thing in that article. This is written by Victoria Kennedy at Eurogamer. Nintendo just unveiled an alarm clock that plays Mario coin noises when you roll over.
Fuck that.
So yeah, there you go. So like, if you're wondering whether it's gonna be top draw useful, it could be. Whether it's gonna be batshit crazy and not what you ever needed in your life, it also could be. So yeah, there you go. Just a little bit of context for you. Gagad says reverie equals dreamlike state. Thank you, Gagad. He's definitely Googled that. I didn't know. He didn't know.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Nah. Just in the scoop, sued by Nintendo for saying Nintendo.
Stranger things have happened.
Just in the scoop, sued for saying PDT is Pacific Daylight Time, because that is a function of a clock, and Nintendo also have a clock. So we definitely have So yeah, probably, possibly, very likely. Moving ahead, though, we'll jump into the next bit of news. From Nintendo to an old enemy, which is, are they owned by Nintendo in part now, Sega, or are they still completely their own thing? I can never remember these days. I know, or was it just like Nintendo bought rights to use Sonic and things like that? I can't remember.
Yeah, for the Olympics games and shit.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, forget that whole separate conversation. Sega has announced an Alien Isolation sequel. This is written by Tom Ivan over at VGC. I think Doom's pretty excited about this one. I think he actually shared it in the Discord, didn't he? I think maybe. Anyway, the game is in early development at Creative Assembly. Sega has revealed that it's working on it. And sorry, I've just seen Gaga write the word sexy and it completely distracted me. Then, hey, the sexy one knows words. That's true. Gaga is a very sexy man. Sega has revealed that it's working on an Alien Isolation sequel. The announcement was made on Monday to coincide with the 10th anniversary of the original game's release. The sequel is in early development at Creative Assembly, according to studio director Al Hope, who also directed Alien Isolation. Quotes, on the 10th anniversary, it seems only fitting to let you know that we have heard your distress calls loud and clear, he said. Today, I'm delighted to confirm on behalf of the team that a sequel to Alien Isolation is in early development. We look forward to sharing more details with you when we're ready. End quote. Originally released for PC and consoles before making its way to mobile in 2021, the first-person survival horror game was inspired by 1979's Alien movie and drew praise for its tense gameplay and immersive world. Players take on the role of Weyland-Yutani employee Amanda Ripley, daughter of Alien movie protagonist Ellen. In a story set 15 years after Ridley Scott's film, Amanda's mission to uncover the truth about her mother's disappearance leads her to a decommissioned trading station on the fringes of space, where she's forced into a game of cat and mouse with a xenomorph. Quotes, it's been nothing short of incredible to witness your passion for the game over the years and see it reach so many players around the world, end quote, Hope said in today's message to fans. I'll stop there, because we just go on to what seems like more fan service, which is nice, but we've got a lot of stuff to get through. So Sega has announced an Alien Isolation sequel. What are you thinking, babe? You having some of this?
I mean, the first one was a phenomenal game. Like the atmosphere. You talk about a survival horror game. You're talking about some of the absolute greats here in Alien Isolation. I don't understand why they're bringing it out now, though. Like, is it because people was, looking back so far and going like, it was such a good game, man. It's a shame that they didn't make a second one. And then it's kind of snowballed from there, because the fact that it's coming out now is a bit weird that they didn't capitalize on it back then. But again, hopefully it'll be the same people that worked on it that made that game great, and they're not just cashing in on an IP and just sticking a 2 on the end of it. Like, yeah, I'm wary about this. I'm excited, but I'm a little bit wary as to why they're doing it now, because it doesn't make that much sense to me. But if you're looking at the godfather of survival horror games, then this is certainly in the conversation.
I wonder if they realised that me and Danielle watched the Alien films the last few weeks.
They was waiting for it. They was waiting.
No, but off the back of that, we watched the Alien films and the Predator films as the build-up to Alien Romulus, which has just been released. So maybe it's to coincide with that, because you kind of got to feel if the Alien universe and Predator universe, there is still life in that. If the studios have brought out things like Prometheus a few years ago, not great. Was Prometheus the last one before Romulus? Maybe there was.
Do you know what? I think Prometheus has been out way longer than we think. Was that like 2010 maybe?
There was 2 films with Fassbender in Prometheus.
2012.
So there must have been another one after it. I just can't remember what it's called. If anyone in the chat remembers, because there was 2 films with Michael Fassbender in it, and I think Prometheus was the first one. I'm pretty sure there was another one. Covenant, that's it. Covenant, yeah. Cheers, boys. Thanks, boys. Welcome in, Adam. How you doing, mate?
2017, that.
Yeah, so we watched Prometheus and Covenant, and then we've stopped there because obviously Romulus is the next one. But they've clearly. The studios behind it, they're not the greatest films, but the studios behind it have got belief in the storyline, and there's a lot of potential story that could be told through all of the Aliens narratives, be it stories, comics, or whatever. So they've got a lot of way to go with that. And I believe, and I'm not the biggest Alien fan, like I say, I've only just watched Covenant for the first time, but in doing that and in doing a little bit of research into which order I should look into, I only found out, like in the last month, that Alien Isolation is canon to the point where the storyline and the arc of Weyland-Yutani going from 2 separate companies into this mega corporation, which is the actual enemy really in all of the Alien films and stuff. Not a spoiler, that's just obvious from the first film, by the way. That Isolation, I've not played Alien Isolation, so but I didn't play it for a couple of reasons. I thought, just a scary game, and it's a movie cash-in. The other reason I didn't play it is because it was at EGX when I was working at EGX Earl's Court back in like 2013 or whenever it was coming out, you said. And I remember John Edwards from Konami being there going, he's not Konami now, he's PlayStation now, but back then he was at Konami. He went, I've just played Alien Isolation in VR. Have you played it? I was like, no, I've not played it. You never played it at all? I was like, no. He said, go play that. You will fucking shit yourself. I genuinely, this is the scariest thing I have ever played. And that made me instantly go, I don't fancy shitting myself in front of fucking however many thousands of people. So I will play it some other time, thank you, mate. And then I just never got back around to it. But I also, so there's a little bit of I didn't want to shit myself in front of everyone. I'll come back to it later, but then I didn't come back to it later because I thought it was just a movie cash-in. So now knowing that it's actual canon and there's more content to come, and it leaves Prometheus and Covenant behind, I can go back to the bits where the story was actually still okay, apart from...
Well, I'll be very interested to hear what you actually think of it. After playing Still Wakes the Deep, I feel like this might tickle your pickle.
Yeah,
because it's kind of I don't want to say it's the same, obviously, but in terms of the atmosphere, the first person, you're not having, that many weapons at your disposal. I think this might be maybe not for you want to stream. I don't know how much enjoyment that you got out of Still Wakes the Deep when you're streaming it, whether or not
really enjoyed it.
Whether or not it was heightened because you were streaming it and you had all cameras on you or what. It's a fantastic game.
It did add more anxiety from the fact of like I've always had like you either there's ways you deal with scares and you're programmed either to not show that you've jumped or you're programmed to not give a shit if you show that you jumped. I don't care if I look foolish on stream for most things, but one thing that I not just on stream in general is I don't like I'm the person that makes other people jump. I don't. Yeah. People don't make me jump. Like ask Bibby, he knows.
Yes, I know. Yes.
So I've got this like, what's the word? Like I can't. No, I can't remember the word. Can't look it. I'm just programmed to not like people seeing me jump. So playing that on stream added extra anxiety. Whereas like I don't want people to see me jump. Yeah, that didn't work too. Nice one, mate. But like, yeah, so that adds to it, kind of thing. Like, I don't want people to see me shit myself because I lose control of my. The fuck! So that adds extra nerves to it. So yeah, that probably did add to me streaming Still Wakes the Deep. That said, I was already kind of sold on Still Wakes the Deep because it had that like working class. I say northern. Very northern because it was a completely different country, but that Scottish humour that you can just relate to.
Scottish patter.
Yeah, I think that's the word that I actually used, Scottish patter, in the TikTok content that we made because you've got reference to Scottish patter Twitter accounts and stuff like that. Yeah, But yeah, so not only was the content very relatable, but then the scare stuff was really good. Multiplied by the fact that people were watching me do it as well and trying to fucking get Danielle to shit me up on stream. Nice one. 12. Cheers, mate. Nice one. For sure. So yeah.
Shame that never came to fruition.
God damn. So yeah, maybe I won't stream Alien Isolation or 2. Nice. Fuck you, boys.
Hidden camera.
So yeah, anyway, wrapping that. Ooh, voice is going even more.
Yeah. We need to wrap this up. There's going to be nothing left.
So Alien Isolation sequel has been announced. As in progress, but not announced with any form of detail on that. So it's probably going to be a little bit of a wait. So we'll keep you posted as the news comes in. We'll jump over to the next article though, which shouldn't be too far away because it's still with Sega. I mean, it's very far in terms of completely different content, but it's still within Sega. We'll jump back over to Eurogamer for this article where FM25, that's Football Manager 25, the release has been delayed until March 2025. Wenger out next year. Wenger out? It's Wenger, mate, but there you go. Tom Phillips, editor-in-chief at Eurogame, has the article that says Sports Interactive has delayed the launch of Football Manager 25 again, this time until 2025. In a statement this afternoon, which was yesterday, the developer said it had agreed with publisher Sega to postpone the game's launch on all platforms until March next year. Previously, the 40 sim had been set to arrive on the 26th of November for PC, PS5 and Xbox and Nintendo Switch on my birthday, which was would have been the
3rd of December.
but my birthday is still on the
3rd of December.
But this game won't release on the
3rd of December.
just in case you wondered. Happy birthday to you. I didn't even realise. Oh, thanks, guys. Damn. Cheers, mate. Thank you for...
Blindsided him.
God damn. So, yeah, before that, it had been expected earlier this year. Quote, after careful consideration, Sports Interactive have made the tough decision to further delay the release of Football Manager 25. End quote. The developer wrote in a statement released this afternoon. Quotes, following discussions with Sega, our licensors and partners, we have agreed the best course of action is to delay until March 2025. Specific platform release dates will follow once confirmed. In our last development update in September, we explained that we needed to push FM25's original release back to give ourselves more time to deliver the best possible experience for this first installment in a new era of Football Manager. This additional time has not been sufficient to ensure the game quality and experience meets your expectations and our very high standards. In the previous blog, we explained that it has been a difficult development cycle for the studio. Many things have been moving slower than we had predicted, despite everyone in the team working at an incredible pace to try and get everything done. Timelines were already tight, and as rightly pointed out by many of your recent comments, we were simply rushing too much and in danger of compromising our usual standards. This has put an enormous amount of pressure on everyone working across the studio, who are all passionately committed to delivering the best game possible. FM25 is the biggest technical and visual advancement in the series for a generation. We simply cannot compromise the delivery of this crucial juncture in Football Manager's history by rushing to release it in November. Of course, this is not where any of us expected to be 7 weeks out from our release, but in the spirit of our studio values, we always consider the bigger picture, and the bigger picture here is that we need this additional time to deliver a game that we can all be proud of. For the large numbers of you who have already pre-ordered the game, we thank you very much for your trust and support. Given the delay, however, should you wish to claim a refund, please contact your retailer. Something you noted as missing from our announcement on the 30th of September was mention of advanced access on PC and Mac. We can confirm advanced access will be available ahead of the new release date, and when we are confident on how long that period will be, we will update you at the first opportunity. The gameplay reveal will also now move until the end of January 2025. We are intensely aware that this will be massively disappointing for you. We share that disappointment and are extremely sorry. Thank you for reading and your patience. It means the world to us as we continue work on creating a new era for Football Manager. End quote. And then it goes into a little bit more in the article that I'll leave just there. But I wanted to read through that in full. I know it was quite a lot. And maybe I've just been sold. But that stunk, and stunk's the wrong word, but I'll stick with it. I've said it now. That stunk of meaning, feeling, and emotion. Maybe I've just been sold an absolute yarn, but that seemed like that's the studio being honest there with me. Is they've look, it's shit. We realise it's shit. You wanted it now. We wanted it now. It's just not right. We're going to have to push it back. We're not just delivering an annual update. We are adding one of the biggest things that we've added to the game in many years, and it's just not where we thought it would be yet. Sometimes when you make the omelette, you've got to break the eggs, and these eggs are fucking messy, so give us a bit of time. That's what it seems like to me. And I read through it all, because reading through it, I didn't feel like it was, oh, but what about, and we should have this, and it could have been that, and we tried this, and it's someone else's fault. It just felt like we were giving you what is happening. Did anyone else get that, or was that just me? Thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's two sides to this, and yes, I do have splinters in my arse from sitting on the fence with it, because I still don't know how I genuinely feel about it, because 7 weeks out from a game that usually has things like a long-term beta access, so that people, when you're talking about beta access, in Football Manager, you are talking about one of the most critical aspects of this game coming out. Like, you would get the beta access, people would be doing saves. Like, everybody knows that you definitely don't start your main year save during the beta process, because it's literally there for testing. You are the you are the QA tester for this game when it comes out during that period. The amount of people that would feed the stuff back on the forums and stuff, and we've had no comment about that, like, leading up to it. When you pre-order it, you'll get your beta access stuff, like you get your code, and that's how you do it. Like, none of this stuff was present, and pre-orders were allowed like 11 days ago or something like that, with the idea that this game would be coming out in 7 weeks' time. And now they've had to pull the plug, whether or not all of that is based off of the amount of pre-orders that they've got. Because bear in mind, this is a brand new engine, which is the reason why we're getting a completely different rebranded game, because this is going to be the main aspect of the game, this brand new engine. Like, if it's broke, don't fix it. The old engine it isn't great. It genuinely isn't great, but it worked. The whole aspect of that game is buying, selling, getting your team from. I mean, I'm giving you the whole thing about what football is at this moment in time. You understand that, and what Football Manager is, and you're looking at your attributes and players and stuff like that. For me, the game doesn't live and die by the actual game engine. It's the whole mechanics around it. Like, is my entire team going to get injured in 4 weeks? Because that's happened before during a beta process. But I understand that that's whole part of it, that we're feeding all of that stuff back. But we haven't seen anything about the match engine at all. Nothing. Not one little bit of what that looks like. And the screenshot that we've got, I think we had 7 of them, and it looked like the tablet version of the game. It looks like it was made for a console first, which I think is the direction that they're looking at. Like, I don't know this day and age how many people have laptops in their house versus the amount of consoles. I'm guessing it's probably more consoles to laptops, especially for gaming. Like, in terms of a laptop, I don't mean like you're watching Netflix on it or Amazon Prime, you're doing your coursework or your actual work on it, like all of that stuff. Not bothered about that. An actual gaming laptop that doesn't sound like an engine's taking off when you're playing Football Manager. That compared to a console, I don't know what the split is, but it feels like they're trying to make this game more console orientated than they are doing a PC game, which is fine. Because the skins that we get in as a default in the game, you go onto FM Base, FM Scout, all these other third-party websites, and you can download skins to put into the game yourself. So you can make it look however you want. The default vanilla skin is neither here nor there when it comes to the PC version, but all these decisions being made, from where I sit, it feels like the FM community have just gone, no, this is bullshit. Like, we're not seeing anything here that is making us get super excited for the game. And we're more worried that we haven't seen anything. Because by now, we'd have seen everything about this game. We used to have a roadmap where it'll say, like, right, in, I don't know, August, you'll get to see what your player stats look like, and then you'll get to see the match engine 4 weeks later, and then you'll get to see how many leagues we have, and all of that stuff usually happens, and we haven't seen none of that. We've seen nothing. The women's aspects of the game being added to it is obviously a step in the right direction for women who want to see representation in the game, and they get to have an entire database worth of players. It doesn't make any difference. It's not like playing EAFC where you have the men's and women's all being put into the same thing on an ultimate team. It doesn't work like that. It's just Football Manager, but the women's game. Like, I don't see the problem. Go on, sorry.
I say, the reason that we're not seeing all this stuff, though, like, is this the why? So we haven't seen any of that sort of stuff, because the engine could be a few different things. Obviously, it's the gameplay engine that shows, I imagine, the football being played. So you do all of the stuff in your spreadsheet simulator part of the game.
Yep.
But then when the game plays out, that's all run through this engine. But like, do we know what else that means? Like, if they're changing and upgrading that engine, obviously that's just the theatrics, the drama part of it. But does that hamstring them from making the same game have cross-play, cross-progression, because the different engine won't work on different systems? So let's say it's Unreal. I don't know what they're using. But if fitting UE5 into fitting their game into UE5 allows them to have an engine that means that you can start playing it on your phone and then play it on your PC and then play it. Like, so there could be all that sort of stuff that nobody knows. I mean, the shit bit is nobody knows, like you say. The fact that lack of transparency is undoubtedly infuriating. And this is where you see the difference in me. Me reading that letter sounds phenomenal. Okay, you've been open, you've been honest. But that's me not being hit with all of the information that you say in the background is like there has been no open and honest day. We don't know why we've not had and why we've got to this point and what the reasons is and what specifically is holding back and what this is the biggest upgrade we've got. We've not seen it and we don't know what the future brings for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could.
There's still people that play using the 2D engine system. You know, you'd have seen that 15 years ago where it was the dots on the screen like that. The people still use that. They don't necessarily just use the 3D engine. So, like you said, the fact that I can't remember the engine that they're moving into, but if it's one of those that they want to make it universal so it works across everything, that's great. But it's you get the letters like this after pre-orders, and we're 7 weeks away. And if I'm being blatantly honest, I think everyone who plays FM probably saw this coming because it's already been delayed once. But the fact that it's now been delayed until March next year, so they need another 5 months on this, tells me that something's gone categorically wrong somewhere down the line, and I don't know where that is.
I feel like it's not necessarily that it's gone categorically wrong. It's just that more probably they didn't know, because it's like saying we're going to go into the rainforest and build a house. Okay, nice. But you've never been into the rainforest, so you don't know what things are there. And this rainforest in this term is the engine. Okay, we're going to move to a new engine, but we don't know what that is. We think we can do it in 2 years, so we'll start on it this year. We'll work on it hard next year. We won't develop a sequel on the old engine next year. We'll work on one for this year, but then we'll transition for next year for the launch for the next year after. And then you get there and you realise, oh, fuck, all these tree stumps need removing. And there's a big fuck-off boulder. And actually, the middle of the rainforest is just water. So we have to figure that shit out. So I feel like they've probably not so much gone wrong, but they've not realised how difficult it was going to be. And that's probably why you're not getting any form of roadmaps and stuff, because they're going, we don't know what the roads are going to look like.
I feel like that could be down to a little bit of naivety, but I feel like they probably have enough people there to make a conscious decision and go, right, we need to make a legacy version of FM24, because bringing this out in March when the season's very nearly over, that there's 6 weeks left of the actual football season when this is going to be due out, and then there might be another game coming out in any time between September and November next year. Like, it feels like they probably should have just done, or they're going to do, a legacy version of this and just say, look, January transfer, like, this is the transfer window just gone. You can play that one here. January transfer window. Here's our update pack for you to be able to do it. Continue to play in FM24, all you need. Because when it comes to FM25, yeah, the bells and whistles are going to be absolutely amazing, but it's very near the end of the life cycle of the game. So,
I'd be surprised if they don't do some form of like legacy purchase. And when I say I don't mean that as like building a legacy edition of the game for people to play, but like, did you buy 25? Oh, well, you can get 26 for half price or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that, because I think whilst Sports Interactive is a renowned studio, I don't feel like they have that global security to eat a year of no profit that, say, an EA or someone would, because they don't have the same level of microtransactions, they don't have the same level of sell-through, they don't have the same number of studios. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're still releasing 25 to make sure that the studios are still viable, and then they'll go into 26. But they're also a brand that's trialed things like releasing the game on Game Pass and so on. So they are looking at ways of accessing new audiences and so on. So yeah, and very customer forward in that way. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get this game releasing or not. They may just go, do you know what? Fuck it. It will look better for us if we just release FM25 as FM26. But rather than releasing in October, we'll release in September and we'll go at the start of the new season. We'll provide updates. They could do that, but I find that more harder to swallow. Just thinking in their economic situation, I think they'd probably still go with FM25 just as a means to get some money through the door, but be very aware that they have to do something for the community after that, in terms of, be it buy this one, next one cheaper, or pay a £20 upgrade fee and you can change 25 into 26 if you want the next one or something like that.
Well, Miles is usually very, 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 very transparent with stuff like this.
Yeah.
He tweets out regularly
Miles Jacobson
about
is
production and stuff.
the boss at Sports Interactive, by the way, if anyone doesn't know.
Yeah, great guy. Like, I've never met him, but he comes across so well on social media, in interviews, blog posts, and all of that stuff. And I think, and you can probably quote me on this, I think FM24 was the most played and downloaded version of the game that there has ever been. So it's not as if they don't already have the player base there for it. It's how does this decision affect that going forward? Like, are people just going to be fundamentally pissed off with this? Of course they are. This is the reason why people buy laptops with the community that they have for FM. Like, people are constantly asking, like, what's the best laptop to be able to run this on a budget so that it doesn't sound like it's going to be taking off. So I don't know what this does for the bridges between those, the studio and the player base. I suppose we'll find out in the next couple of weeks, because my timeline is littered with people making YouTube videos and their opinions about this. So yeah,
someone outside the game and outside the community, I don't think it will do stuff. This smells like, for a game that is very, very community heavy, like, not in terms of what Sports Interactive do for the community, although I am aware that they do quite a bit with the community as well, but it is led by the community. The community do their things, they make their mods, they sort their own things. It was born out of not being the mainstream anyway. It was the game that football fans went and played and did their thing behind the scenes whilst everyone else played your louder football games and so on. So it's in the perfect position to have that No Man's Sky moment. They're not even in the No Man's Sky moment. People have still got a game to play. People will just go, okay, we'll carry on modding what we've got now. I'm annoyed and angry, but once I've vented that shit, I'll move along. And the next one comes out, and it'll probably drop down in price pretty quickly or something, possibly. Maybe that's how they do it. They go, do you know what? It's right at the arse end of the season, rather than, let's say it releases at 50 quid. I don't know what it releases. Rather than being 50 quid, it'll be 25 quid because the next one comes out in just a couple of months' time, 3-4 months' time. So we'll only do it as 25 quid. And then people go, do you know what? That's a fucking banging gesture. And all it needs is that sort of community considerate thinking for people to go, okay, appreciate what you've done. In your words, it's been a difficult year for you. It's been a difficult year for us, but we've met in the middle at that 25 quid, and when we move ahead. And then that's all for me, that's all it will need for them. As long as people see what the engine brings. And like you said, the engine's not important. For someone that doesn't play the game, because I find it like mind-numbing, the seeing the clunky play of that 3D engine system, it's like that's the nail in the coffin for me. Like, if I've gone through all of this and my players aren't doing my tactical things that I want, which is probably my fault, but I'm looking at this clunky engine. Yeah, exactly. But that's the point, though. I don't admit that, because I see this clunky engine playing it out thinking, well, that's why. It's not my shit management, it's this shit engine. That's why I'm losing. And Tito's mentioning like 13-0 every game and so on. If you see this clunky engine, that is a way for you to manifest your issues into this engine. For people like me who aren't in that genre, and admittedly, I'm not a football manager player. I've tried a few times over the last couple of decades, and it just does not work for me. But I have an out there. It doesn't look good. That gameplay doesn't play how I want it to play. It's not about the gameplay. That's just a visual representation of the mechanical calculations behind the scenes sort of stuff. So if they putting that in makes it look a little bit more attractive for me, I think, okay, I'm actually influencing real football here, not like weird sort of crappy stuff. And the engine's a lot more optimized and smoother. Doesn't make Bibby's laptop sound like it's going to take off, which means you can probably get better surroundings. You've got crowds that are fully animated and not causing your system to explode and shit. And suddenly, okay, I'm actually influencing a spectacle here rather than just a run through. So I understand why they've done it and why they need to do it to keep fresh, because you can't just rest on your laurels in that game, because someone else will just come and shit on you. But yeah, difficult.
No one else has been able to manage it.
100%
manage it.
Oh, what a pun! What a pun! What a pun!
Yeah. No, nobody else has managed to could bring out anything close to what the aura of Football Manager has, and people have tried. Whether or not it's due to licenses, gameplay mechanics, or whatever it is that comes along with it, the magic of FM is there, and nobody else can replicate it. So, they in that respect, they have as much time as they need. I'm very interested to see what it looks like in March. I will always play Football Manager games. That seems to be the most consistent thing in my life when it comes to playing it, because you don't need to concentrate, and that sounds ridiculous, but from 90% of the game, you're pretty much just pressing spacebar, you're reading a little bit of news. You can do that at your own will. You're not waiting for everybody else. Like if you're playing an online game, you're fixated on your screen, like you can't move away. Football Manager, you can fucking go make a brew. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that you can play at your own pace, and that's what interests me. So I will always play this game. It could be the worst update in the world, and I will still find some form of enjoyment out of it. And again, that might put me in a different category to other people, but I don't make content solely on this game, which is what I tend to, I say, surround myself. That's the people I watch on Twitch. That's the journeyman saves that I'm watching people on YouTube making stuff, and I get enjoyment out of watching them and their journeys, journeyman save. So I don't know. I feel like I'm in my own little pocket with this announcement.
I mean,
for the good of the game, it's great. But how that affects the business, I don't know.
There is always that though. Like when same with me and PUBG creators. If I watch PUBG creators and that's their main game, they will always have extreme opinions because their opinions are based around that being the center of their world, not just on the periphery kind of thing. So that any ramifications that has are huge and sends shockwaves through everything else. So this being delayed by 5 months for someone whose world revolves around that's like,
yeah.
Not only is it late, do I actually have to look at playing other games? Mm-hmm. And because I'd planned in my head roughly what I'm going to do for the 12-month window, and now I have to extend that by 50% almost. So
that's it. People's saves will be leading up to the saves on FM24 will be leading up to the release date of 25. Their story with that save should come to its end within 2 weeks of that new game coming out. What do they do now?
New save, let's go again. Yeah. The thing is you just got to kind of trust. Like Sports Interactive have built this community without global budgets. Don't get me wrong, there's the very profitable business, but they don't have the global budgets that you'll see a Fortnite or FIFA or FC, should I say. Now they don't have those kind of budgets, but they've done right to get to this point. So you just kind of, in my opinion, as someone that doesn't play it, I have respect for the brand and what it's done without being fully on the inner circle. But I would then use that buys enough time for me to go, okay, go on, you do your shit, fix it, because then I'm hoping it comes back with not just a prettier engine for the game to play out, but the bits that I didn't realise were in until watching you and Show and Ravi and so on stream. All these different ways.
Let's not bring that up again.
Yeah, nice. How many points did you get in that? No, I didn't leave it.
How many goals are scoring in that? I don't leave it.
So, but like there's cool functions there, but how are we building that into like social elements? How do we allow people to interact with each other in the game more and so on, rather than having to use certain other things? And I think that's where, since Football Manager last fully looked at the engine from the entire game, not just the gameplay part of it, the industry, and the reason I mentioned Unreal, has moved on so much because of the functions that are freely and easily available to use from not just your Lumen and your Nanite areas of the engine. If anyone doesn't know, Lumen is lighting and Nanite is the texture in Unreal Engine, but the lobby functions that you get as standard now as being part of an Unreal user, and the matchmaking functions and the social functions and so on. Like, there's all that sort of stuff where they could be like, okay, we've got the community that's doing all the legwork and making all these mods and all that stuff. Now maybe we look at ways of bringing that together. I'm not saying any of that's in the game. I don't know anything about it, but new engines usually come with those sort of considerations that look at all the extra stuff that we can allow the community to do for themselves as well now. So yeah, for me, they've earned a little bit of trust, and hopefully it comes back with all of that extra stuff as well. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. If it doesn't, fuck those guys. No, and if it doesn't, don't worry. You've got a lot of stuff that you can play for free, because it is
Free Game Friday.
Yeah.
Free Game Friday.
Nice. Okay, let's jump over to the first article. This one is on VGC. This is written by Chris Scullion. It came out yesterday, and it's talking about Prime Gaming's 27 free games for October, which includes BioShock Remastered and Doom Eternal. So many of this month's claimable games have a horror theme for Halloween. Amazon Prime subscribers can get 27 games this month as part as part of their subscription. Prime Gaming, which is included with Amazon Prime subscription, offers members a selection of PC games to claim and keep. Depending on the game, these can be redeemed on the likes of the Epic Games Store, GOG, Microsoft Store, and Amazon's own PC Games app. Many of the games on offer this month are horror-themed to tie in with Halloween. These include BioShock Remastered, Doom Eternal, Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, and Scorn. Do you know what? That is 4 bangers there, to be fair. Very big games. Like Scorn, I remember watching that in the Xbox showcase about 3-4 years ago, thinking, this looks like weird, but the right kind of weird, like scary sort of weird shit. So, yeah, that after Ghostbusters, which is strong IP tie-in, Doom, strong IP tie-in, BioShock, strong IP tie-in, GG's. So cult 16-bit B-movie games Zombies Ate My Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol are also included among this month's free games. The full list of games, which can be claimed via Prime Gaming in October, is as follows. So I'll quickly run through the list. Available now: Hive Jump 2 Survivors on GOG, Scarf, Amazon Games app, Tomb Raider Legend on GOG, The Eternal Cylinder, Spirit of the North, No Straight Roads, all on the Epic Games Store, BioShock Remastered on GOG, Doom Eternal on the Microsoft Store, Dread Out 2 on the Amazon Games app, Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed Ecto Edition on the Epic Games Store, Priest Simulator, Vampire Show, Epic Games, and The Gap is on Amazon Games. There are more games coming out. October 17th, there is Mystery Box Hidden Secrets. Do you know what? I'll leave the format. I'll just say the names out. Mystery Box Hidden Secrets, Vlad Circus Descend into Madness, Through the Darkest of Times, Killing Floor 2, and Zombies Ate My Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol. October 24th, you get Pumpkin Jack, The Gunk, Stasis Bone Totem, Gargoyles Remastered, Monster Train, and Morbid the Seven Acolytes. And then on Halloween itself, you get A Plague Tale Innocence, Death's Door, Haunted Hotel Personal Nightmare Collector's Edition, Scorn, and Koromon. So there is a fuck ton there. 27 games. If you're a Prime subscriber, make sure you redeem all of those as you can, because once they're in your account, you got them. You got them. You keep them. Let's go, baby. We've lost the baby, though. Free games just get him so excited he couldn't hold it. He had to get up and leave halfway through. I don't know if you saw that. He was like, go. Okay, whilst he's gone, I will use this as an opportunity to jump over to our last bit of article, which follows up on that, sticking with Free Game Friday. Oh, Bibby's returning. We are jumping over to PC Gamer now. This article, as always, written by Morgan Park with contributions from Lincoln Capita, Sarah Richter, and others. What's free on the Epic Games Store right now? Well, free until the 17th of October is Empyrean Galactic Survival and Outliver Tribulation. Was it Outliver? I don't know. I couldn't remember last year. I guessed it, last week. I guessed it both. So yeah, this week Epic has Empyrean Galactic Survival and Outliver Tribulation up for grabs. With the former, you're in for a survival building sandbox where you can tackle the sci-fi building of your dreams, whether it's a sprawling base complex or a massive capital ship. Explore planets, mine asteroids, and salvage weird alien stuff you come across in your quest to build bigger and better space stuff. Or if you're more in the mood for the spooky for the season. Okay, nice. I'm guessing that's supposed to say for the spooky season. But yes, you could take on Outliver Tribulation, which is a survival horror where you're stuck in a mystical realm and trying to escape. They are free until next Thursday, where they'll be replaced by Cardboard Kings and Invincible Presence Atom Eve. So yeah, there you go. 29 free games this Free Game Friday. Obviously all for PC users. But a big old mix in there. Get them now. Well, you can't get them all now.
I already got them.
You can get most of them now, and then there's a few more coming 17th, 24th, and 31st of October on Prime. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Prime Gaming month looks badass. Doom Eternal, Scorn, BioShock, Death's Door, and The Plague Tale Innocence in there as well. Spicy.
Wall-to-wall bangers.
Yeah, boy. And that is the end of the show. Ad says they are delaying it for the right reasons, but they should have... came out with it straight away and not had a roadmap first. Did they have a roadmap or did they not have a roadmap?
They had one, but they didn't show anything from it. So, like, it shows you what's going to happen, but we never saw anything from it. As far as I was aware, again, feel free to say I'm wrong with that stuff. But
the thing with the roadmap as well is... roadmaps weirdly get a lot of hate, and I think that's because people don't understand what a roadmap is a lot of the time. A roadmap isn't a list of things that that is definitely going to happen because that's deliverables. A roadmap is this is the route we are planning to take. But they use the phrase
My name is
roadmap.
Optimus Prime.
Adam! Thank you for the primer, mates. Appreciate you, mate. Isubka. Thank you for the Isubka. Yeah, the thing with the roadmap is it's not a list of deliverables. It's the route that we are planning to take, but sometimes there are obstructions. That's where the phrase roadmap comes from. You might have to reroute. The bad side of the road mapping, though, is your sat-nav will tell you when you have to reroute. If you aren't updating your audience, you're not doing the sat-nav sort of type of the roadmap going, actually, we wanted to swing it down that street, but, the engine's fucked, so we'll have to swing it down the other street instead. If you're not giving those updates, that's where roadmaps fail. So roadmaps are great. Incorrectly used roadmaps is decisions that are bad, not the actual function itself.
Well, with the, I know we've already gone over this sort of stuff, but when did FM show their roadmaps? That's when we're going to get trailers for what's in the game, not necessarily what's coming to the game.
Yeah.
So it's like it'll be like an 8-week thing. It'll show you the women's game. It'll show you what the engine looks like, what the leagues that are in there, and they'll just split that up into little things. The fantasy draft stuff, the versus mode, the scenario mode, they'll split all of that stuff up. But unfortunately, we haven't seen it. We didn't get to see any of it, which is that's where I think that's where the disappointment has come from. Again, it is what it is. We'll have to wait until March whether or not it was a good decision. Again, I'm always holding out hope, and I'm going to play it regardless. This is one of the games that will always be in my life, and I'll end up playing it. Even if people tell me it's bad, I don't care. I will find some solace with it regardless. So, shill or not, I'm a big Football Manager fan, and I will always find some form of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. So the roadmap for the even for the release of information, because that's usually what it is. A roadmap isn't so much. I mean, you've got your developmental roadmap at post-release, but a pre-release roadmap, same thing still applies in terms of we plan to show you the new in-game engine on the 1st of September. We plan to show you the women's team on the 1st of October. We plan to do this on the 1st of November. If you're not going to make it to that road on your roadmap, then you have to tell people, we've had to detour, we've gone somewhere else instead. And if they've not done that, then that is shit. I do understand it, though, as someone that has been involved in conversations in that stuff. Quite often, they don't want to give an update because they don't have the answer. And people don't like the fact that you don't have an answer. That's not good enough a lot of the time, which is shit as well. Sometimes a developer can't do right for doing wrong. We can give you an update on the fact that we wanted to give you the first look at the women's football teams in FM on the 1st of October. The update is that that's not going to happen, and we will let you know when. Yeah, but when is it? We just said we will let you know when. Oh, this is bullshit. You said we were going to have it, and now we've not, and you can't even tell us when. Yeah, the reason we can't tell you when is because we hoped we would have it now, and we don't have it now. So I can give you another arbitrary figure that we might not hit next time, but then you'll be angry again. So when we've assessed what the implication of the new stuff we learn is, we'll figure it out. But yeah, a lot of people don't often get that, which is frustrating. I get it from the development side. But that said, there is still ways and means of keeping that conversation with your community, and it seems like maybe they're not doing that as much. But it is what it is. It's easy for me to say this on my GTA Mega Gaming chair, where I'm not in a studio full of people going, everything's fucking on fire, we can't get the engine to work, or whatever, we just want to make it work so our community can play it because it's going to be fucking amazing. But it's so when it comes out, everyone will be fine. It'll be fine. Hopefully. I just saw an email about pre-ordering FM25. I mean, you'd expect it though. Like, I don't see a problem with that, and you'll get your money back from your pre-orders if you want to go down that route. But there's nothing here that screams like consumer neglect for me. It's just a bold, adventurous step forward that happens once a generation that's just proved to be more difficult than they hoped. But yeah, if people want to pre-order, they can. Like, they thought it was going to be a 12-month release, so you'd expect pre-orders to be there. People would be pissed if they didn't have pre-orders and it came out. So it's one of those kind of things. So yeah, just don't. If you're not sure and there's not been information, then don't pre-order it. That's the answer. Nice. Also depends what language they use when telling you about it. Exactly, mate. Exactly. Is it ham or cheese language? It's a great one. Just playing PUBG. It's rough today. Yeah, it's been rough for the last few days, mate. Yeah. Just found it strange last week. They released their roadmap yesterday, announced a delay. I'm guessing the delay wasn't spoke about before last week then. They've delayed it once already. But the other thing as well is like things like roadmaps. Sorry, we're wrapping up the show, but we'll quickly go on it now. The things like roadmaps can foster conversations and give realizations that they weren't equipped with. So if you're speaking it from your penthouse of security and comfort, going, well, you told us last week it's great and this week it's not. Yeah, because in our information, last week it was great, and now we have new information that this week it's not. So, ta-da! If they knew they were going to delay it, I doubt they'd have released the roadmap. But the thing is, with things like roadmaps, that can almost kick into life conversations like, okay, we have now expectation to deliver this. We need this. This one thing requires us to do 15 other things below it. How many of these 15 other things have been done? We've done the first 7. We're working on the last 8. But the last 8 require these other things to be done. Okay, and when are they going to be done? Well, that's the thing. That's actually built into the engine. And it's like creating those roadmaps. It's not perfect, but creating those roadmaps can create problems that you didn't realize were already there. And this is the thing with live development. You can always go, well, they should have just planned better. Yeah, they could have done, but they didn't, because it's a live thing led by human beings, so they're doing the best they can. So yeah, it's not great, but if you don't buy anything until you know it's ready, then jobs are good, and just carry on playing what you've got. Like, they don't have to give you a game this year, and you don't have to buy a game this year. Remember that bit, and then you'll be good. They want to give you a game to buy, and you want to buy it. That's a lovely relationship. Keep it that way. Anyway, on that bombshell, we are going to wrap things up. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the stream. We talked a bunch of stuff. Red Dead Redemption coming to PC. Tencent potentially buying Ubisoft. Nintendo having some weird clock thing. But also something that you can do somewhere, possibly online with maybe a console or something. Nobody knows. Sega has announced the sequel to Alien Isolation, and they've announced the delayed FM25. And we went through 29 games that you can get for free on Free Game Friday. Nice. Anyway, we're going to wrap up. I'm going to go and get myself some Strepsils or something so I sound less
Like this.
and more human. So we're going to wrap things up, probably go and find one of our friends to drop a little cheeky raid on. But before that happens, Mr. Bibb, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for this episode of The Scoop this week. We'll be back next Friday. So if you want to help shape that show, there is 2 ways you could do so. First of all, find us. Oh, no, sorry. Record scratch next Wednesday. Next Wednesday the 16th.
Nice.
No, we're not.
No.
I'm not in.
No, it's
I'm
not.
at a funeral.
Oh, fuck this. Do you know what? We'll let you know when we're going to scoop.
Yeah, we will let you know as to when that will be. But the best way to be able to find that out is to find us on our social medias, which is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. If you're watching this live on Twitch, if you go into our little banner underneath, you'll find all of the links there as well as in our chat. If you want to listen to any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the links will be listed there for you as well. But ladies and gentlemen, all we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at some point next week. Mr. Graham Day, is that right?
Maybe.
And at what time?
10 a.m.
Ish.
I'm not going to promise it because we're still pretty busy, but we are both in the office on Thursday, right?
Yes, we are.
So maybe Studio Scoop. Maybe.
I
don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It definitely won't be at 10 o'clock on the Thursday because we already have a meeting in for that time.
Yeah. So lunchtime-ish Scoop or something. We'll see.
Yeah.
Nice.
Lock it in.
Well, with a channel of ish, it is what it is. But yeah, appreciate you all dropping in. Sheep, hi mate. I think you should do that. You are human test just in case. Nah. Thank you for this. See you later. Bye. Bye. See you later. Is it that way? That way. It's bye. See you later. That's Shrek, by the way, if anyone wonders what I'm weirdly whispering into the microphone. But anyway, we're going to bounce. Thank you all. Have a beautiful weekend, and we'll see you. Well, are you back tonight, babe?
I most certainly am. Yeah, I'm going to be playing some EAFC. The ICF isn't going to be around tonight because Fix is actually in Manchester. So
Yeah,
it
damn.
might just be some Ultimate Team stuff. It could just be some ICU, Rush. I don't know. We'll figure that out later on tonight. But yes, we will be back playing some EAFC.
Lovely. So if you want to watch some EAFC, maybe even play some EAFC, join us tonight. Get following the channel, get your notifications on. You will be found out. You will be found out when we live gone later on, mate. Also, back tomorrow morning with some PUBG fun times. Nice.
Yay!
Nice. Okay, have yourselves a beautiful evening, beautiful weekend. We'll see you for some games. If not, stay frosty.
Stay frosty.